welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, and yes, this is another Historic National Road / Madonna of the Trails episode, and I'm giving the Madonna of the Trails statue her own episode, as I have in the past. And for those of you who have followed this channel, you guys know how fascinated I am with these statues. This is actually the 5th one I have visited now, and this one I'm standing in front of is the one in Richmond, Indiana, the only one in the state of Indiana. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the Madonna of the Trail statues, yes, there are a couple markers that will tell you the history, but there are 12 Madonna of the Trail statues spread out through the United States from Maryland to California, and 12 states. There's no more than one per certain state. And I'll tell you more about the history. Here we go. Okay, so that is Highway 40, or the Old National Road. Lots of heavy traffic, as you can see. And this here, from the Daughters of the American Revolution, is the Madonna of the Trail statue, or as some say, a monument. Now, unlike the ones I have visited in the past, they all have all been colored like, they've been like red, pink, and brown or tan. But this one is plain white. And the ones I have visited so far are Illinois, Missouri, New Mexico, and California. And they are all on the Old Trails Road. And this is one of many that is on the Historic National Road. First, I'm going to read you this marker right here. All right, so it says here, the Madonna of the Trail statue, commissioned by the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, was designed and sculpted by August Leimbach of St. Louis, Missouri. It symbolizes the courage, faith, and spirit of the pioneer mothers who helped conquer the wilderness and settle untamed lands. A single statue was created in each of the 12 states through which the National Old Trails Road passed, uniting east with west. Dedicated on October 28, 1928, Indiana's Madonna stands near the first toll gate established along the National Road in Richmond, Indiana. And this was put up by the Indiana Daughters of the American Revolution. Yeah, it says here the first toll gate in Indiana stood near the site on the National Road. So the marker does say that it was dedicated in 1928. Some other statues were dedicated in 1929. Here is a plaque also that talks about the first toll gate in the state of Indiana. And it was literally right here, or nearby, I should say. It was erected about 1850 during kind of near the end of the heyday of the National Road. This was also put up by the Daughters of the American Colonists in 1954. And it looks really nice. I mean, I don't see any graffiti or any damages to it, and I'm glad it has stayed that way. But it says here, a nation's highway, once a wilderness trail over which hardy pioneers made their perilous way, seeking new homes in the dense forests of the great Northwest. And down here are plaques that talk about how the Madonna of the Trail was rededicated. Like, that one was in 1988, in other words, the 60th anniversary. 75th anniversary in 2003, 70th anniversary in 1998, the 90th anniversary in 2017. Well, in just about 5 years from now, it's going to be the 100th anniversary of most of these statues, but this one is no exception. I mean, there's definitely going to be a plaque somewhere here. And of course, it talks about the National Old Trails Road. But there is another marker. And for those who have been following my Indiana National Road series, it's an interpretive panel down there. So this one was put up by the Indiana National Road Association. Standing Tall. Dedicated on October 28th, 1928, this Madonna statue is a tribute to the pioneering spirit of women. In 1911, the Daughters of the American Revolution proposed a model highway from D.C. to Los Angeles, California. A year later, the National Old Trails Highway Association was established. Linking the National Road with the Santa Fe Trail, the proposed route was one of the many ambitious ocean-to-ocean highway plans being promoted for automobile travel. 12 statues, such as the one before you, mark the proposed route from Bethesda, Maryland to Upland, California. And yes, I did an episode in Upland, California. I have ways to go to get to Maryland. In other words, the end of the trail. But it also says here the evolving role of women. As the women's movement matured during the 19th century, women's roles evolved from wife, mother, and caregiver to advocate, promoter, and adventurer. Women traded in their Conestoga wagons and bonnets for motor cars, dust jackets, and goggles. Before they could speed down the highway, however, the rutted and muddy paths needed to be reconstructed and paved. And down here, it talks more about the roads. The Good Roads movement. Less than 10% of the country's roads were paved in the 1890s. The invention of modern tires in 1885 and advocacy by bicyclists, motorists, farmers, and business owners for smoother surfaces to travel on resulted in the Good Roads movement. Women saw that good roads had potential beyond transportation. Improved roads provide access to better education, jobs, and culture, even better nutrition through improved access to fresher produce. Increasingly, women became effective advocates for the creation of a national network of paved, interconnected highways. While the National Old Trails Highway never materialized, the broader idea of roads as social and cultural resources would continue to be advocated by women. This down here talks about Madam C.J. Walker, who was America's first female African-American millionaire. She was a cosmetics entrepreneur, and she is pictured here driving that wagon. But she benefited from good roads in the marketing and delivery of her beauty products to African-American women. In 1910, she moved her business to Indianapolis, setting up a laboratory and beauty school a few blocks from the National Road. At the height of her career, her business grossed over $100,000 a year and employed thousands of agents across the country. And one thing I forgot to mention is that this is actually located at the southwest corner of the Glen Miller Park. The Glen Miller Park dates back to 1885, and I believe it is Richmond's largest park. I mean, they've got several park areas here in this city, but it was very fitting on their part to put the statue right there. And no, I don't think the Glen Miller Park was named after the 1940s popular band leader. It is actually one N, not two N's, so. And the Madonna the Trail statue in Ohio is not too far from here. I want to say it's about maybe a 40 or 50 mile radius. It's in Springfield, Ohio. But I'm on my way there tomorrow, but I thought I'd come visit this. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason at the Madonna the Trail statue in Glen Miller Park in Richmond, Indiana. Sign off.